Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is
Erin
Erin.
Dinsmore.
That's right, Erin.
Hello, everybody.
He used to be a movie star, but now he came to the Amazon jungle. He's just traveling. He's also becoming more spiritual, and he actually published a book about just self-help. Is it fall
Yeah,
under self-help?
I call it internal knowledge
Internal knowledge.
because self-help is part of what I talk about. That what I focus on is our egos, and I've spent my whole life trying to understand these blocks that we have. Like a dear friend or a dear old friend. He's not one anymore, but he was reading a self-help book, and I realized that all the self-help books promise you something. You're going to get something out of it. You're going to get something for yourself.
You mean like happiness,
You're going to get
wealth?
happiness, the house, the car, the everything.
Uh-huh.
And what was happening was that he could dissect this information and still be a narcissist. And that to me was so painful to put those pieces together. And so when I started writing this book, it was really trying to isolate what is it that in all of us that can read something like that, that our ego can actually take that information and then we'll go out to the world and tell you how great we are at healing, except we never healed, we hid. The ego is very tricky, and so
It's there to protect you, right?
it's there to protect you, but the name of my book is the three minds, and the
Three
reason,
minds?
yeah,
Like the monkey mind, the prefrontal cortex, and the midbrain?
close. Those are all the same primal mind.
Yeah,
So
that's
when
okay.
you're born with the primal mind, which is your monkey mind. It is your primal being, and a really special way to acknowledge that is that when you die, your primal mind dies too. Everything you dream about, everything you hope, everything you hold on to, that's all in your primal mind. That dies. So you have to sit there and go, well, then what am I? If that's all going to, everything you believe right now in this world is going to die, then what are you taking with you? And so the three minds is I'm a highly sensitive person. I'm an empath. I'm all these things. So I like to say that my nervous system is built like Shaq. If you saw me at 14 years old and you saw me stand next to Shaquille O'Neal, you look at him and you go, he's going to be a superstar basketball player. My nervous system is built to feel things about 80% more than everyone else in the world.
That's
So
interesting.
things like Einstein, all these people were all HSPs, highly sensitive people. So the breakthrough for me was really understanding that there's two types of people,
So
primarily.
let me just clear this up. When you mean highly sensitive, is you're able to tap into other people's emotions. It's not like someone says something and you get sensitive about it.
No, that's yeah. So it's sort of like it's not empathy. It's that if you have a satellite dish inside of you that's receiving information,
Yeah.
I have 50. So sounds are heightened, taste is heightened, feelings are heightened. I feel more things in my body. So when I was going through this stuff emotionally and feeling my way through it, I can feel when different chakras turn on. I can feel when I switch from my ego to my soul mind. But
Really?
yeah, just to keep it real clean is that you have an ego mind, you have a soul mind, and you have a heart mind. And these are not just ambiguous things. These are centers of very intelligent processing, right? So how can you meet somebody and get a bad feeling about them?
Bro, you just have a bad gut feeling about them.
What is that?
That's bio, what do they call it? Gut bio or something like that. That's
It's
something triggering your heart, your brain, because there's a brain in your heart too,
this
and
is what
your stomach.
this is what I'm saying. So your heart actually has your brain has a 3 foot like you can measure this out. Your
You're
brain
talking
has
about the
like
electromagnetic
the
field?
electromagnetic field around your brain is about 3 feet.
Okay.
Your heart is about 7 to 8 feet.
Yeah.
So your heart is sending out this giant circular signal and it's receiving everything all the time, whether you can see it or not. That signal is then sent to your brain. So most people that are closed off, it's because they've transferred to only being a thinking type.
Yeah.
Now, sensory people are a feeling type, right? So we operate everything through this world as a feeling. But if you're a feeling type, this world sucks. It's painful because everybody's telling you you're crap. They're telling you you're over emotional.
Would you say those are more artists?
I mean, I think
Like creative
everybody's an
people?
artist, and I think that, yeah, you would say most people that are artists are the feeling type because they're being repressed by society. They
Yeah.
need to express. And so the book was really just about how to fall back in love with feelings,
And yourself, bro.
and that feelings are actually why we're here. Emotions are how you perceive the world. So if you're a typical male that's closing yourself off to emotions, you're actually closing yourself off to understanding the world around you.
I agree.
So feelings
agree.
is how we do this, you know?
When before I started meditating and doing yoga
Yeah.
and like sound baths, I thought it was fucking weird to hug other men.
Yeah.
There's-
Oh, interesting.
That's weird. Like I heard you earlier today because
Yeah.
me and you went to something and we had the same opinion.
Yeah.
But when I went to a meditation class and the guy would just hug me, I would get freaked out. But then like I thought about it, I was like, bro, I'm like, he's just hugging everyone. It's not him. It's
But
me.
males have to understand, and this is something I was talking to a friend about. Males, when we're like around 14, let's say,
Yeah.
we're programmed so hard to like fight and fuck, like, and it's painful for men. I know so many guys that have become very aggressive in relationships, like, because we're taught if a girl says no, what are we supposed to do? We go harder because a no is weakness. If we leave it at a no, then we failed as men. So we have this
You mean to get in her pants?
predatory like stigma we put into all of our teenage boys. So there's so many men out there that I think are dying inside because they are sensitive, but that's seen as weakness.
Got it.
And it's not. It's strength, you know? It's time to let people know that you don't need to be ruled by your emotions, but you need to understand them. We're not just emotions. We're like emotions, we're feelings, and we're senses. So when you say you're too emotional, what does that mean? That's just a big ball of bullshit. You got to unpack that and say, that's not just one thing. So I describe it as this way. If you have a 2-liter bottle in you, right?
Yes.
And I come around and I shake that thing, but you're a man, you're closed off to your emotions, what's happening to that 2-liter bottle
It's fuzzing
inside
up
of you?
inside, bro.
That bottle's getting dense.
Yeah.
It's getting tight.
Yeah.
If I keep shaking it, it's going to burst inside of you.
Or it might burst somewhere where I don't like.
Creates depression. So there's all these men that are depressed and they don't know why. It's because they don't know how to feel. So take that 2-liter bottle. The soda is your feelings. The gases are your emotions. So when you learn how to twist that cap and regulate that cap, that's what we're trying to do. Not control our emotions, but just say, okay, I can let the gases out, but what I'm really trying to get to is the soda, my feelings. Emotions and feelings are not the same thing. They're different. You know?
Yeah.
So
Can you elaborate on that a little more?
yeah,
And I want to tell you something about the brain and heart afterwards.
the great way to say this, and this is like a mind-boggling thing, but there's a lot of science out there. You can go look all this stuff up. But we're finding out that women vibrate babies into existence because the world is built on vibration and resonance.
Yes, energy
It's-
vibrations.
Exactly. So women are naturally built with heightened emotions because it takes that much emotion to create a child inside.
Do you think it's afterwards what happens too? Because they have to kind of like protect that child for like a couple of years. Because babies are kind of helpless the first
Yeah.
couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have heightened senses for that too.
I mean, that just comes with their primal instincts. You know, that's where their mother, their big strong mother comes in. Well, they'll kill anything in the path to protect the baby. I mean,
Yeah.
those are instinctual. So we just kind of switch back to primal, right?
Right.
But women are naturally built to have more emotions, and then we sort of persecute them for it. But it's because men aren't good at it. So men have been dominating for 2,500 years of ego. Leo, the cycle of Leo, that's been 2,500 years.
That just ended.
That just ended. So now we're moving into the feminine. And what's cool is that now women will just rule. They'll be in charge for the next 2,500 years. But men will get a chance to go inward now and
that's
actually
awesome, bro.
observe and figure out who they are. Figure out that they care and they love and that they feel things. Because they've had to build and conquer. And they built. I mean, the male ego built this world that we live in because they were out there fighting and pushing it, but they don't know how to stop.
You think there'll be a better world once women take over? I just want.
Well, yeah, of course, because women are coming at it with, when you're tapped into your soul mind, you're coming at it with wisdom and community. When you're tapped into your ego mind, you can't get away from the fact that it's all self. And how many people fight their whole life to gain all this material stuff and then die and they're miserable?
A lot, bro. I used to be in banking.
Yeah.
And I used to help the higher end people, like the people that have more money.
Yeah. They're miserable.
Some of them were very happy, bro, but they got it right. They started working less and spending more time with their family.
Yeah.
So but most of them were miserable, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you have $12 million in your checking account. Like, do I need to slap you?
Well, and you know, it's not
Use
even
it.
it's not even that we have to force all this onto people mentally because the world is sacred geometry. You know, everything is not abstract. Abstract was created by men who were withholding information for power, right? Once you get the truth out there, you'll realize like people like me and you and all these people are saying the same thing. It's because we're all tapping into this universal truth. We are not just physical beings. We are light beings, and it's fucking time to have that conversation. This is the other half of what we are. We were, look, back in the day when in the original inception of humanity, we were more divinity than we were developed beings because we were just kind of dumb animals. So when you had these star beings coming down and stuff like that, it was like, well, they're not really ready to just have this divinity because they haven't developed here. So they created ego for this reason, was to get us as humans to develop our connection in our life here. Because to be born on this earth is special. You can only join with Mother Nature to be here. We are connected to her always. So this awakening, this whole thing is really about awareness.
It is about
It's
awareness,
just saying,
bro.
yo,
But your higher awareness.
everyone feels like shit for a reason. Everyone feels lost for a reason because there's something out there that we're not talking about. And it's the fact that we're made of light. So
I've actually
let's
heard that
talk
from-
about it.
Let's talk about it.
You know?
One thing that helps people connect maybe to themselves or their higher selves is I take this meditation class with Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has something called the brain-heart coherence. So when you're able to be in deep meditation and you're concentrating on your heart and your brain, they sync together.
Exactly.
There's something together when they sync, that electromagnetic field gets bigger and bigger, bro. So
Yeah.
you have more room for love. Sometimes,
It's a flow state.
Yeah,
But
sometimes-
that's where my book comes in. It's not just heart and head. Now there's the third one, which is soul mind. So your soul mind is not, it's a seventh chakra, and it's light blue. And the reason why you can't see it is because it's not materialized here because it's part of the other side of you. It's not manifesting itself in a material world because it's your connection back to who you really are. So the goal of this life really is to understand your root chakra is red. It's red for a reason.
Yeah, the first one.
When you tap that into history, you got Egypt and the Anunnaki representing that. They were very ego-based life. In Atlantis, now you got people that are mixed with the star seed, which was blue. Blue is your seventh. So now you have a red one down here and a blue one up here. What do you think your job is in this world?
To get it all up to 7.
To
Well,
connect
them.
the two. So you're connecting spirit and you're connecting your physical reality here. When those two become one, then you've become oneness with all things.
Would you say your pineal gland is like the transducer or the antenna to this?
That's a great question.
Because if the 7 one is not on you and you can connect it to at any time, I would think. I mean, different people have told me yes. I just want to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, your your pineal gland it's your portal. So I like to say that the way science understands this is that they have the matrix grid,
Yeah.
the millennium run as they call it specifically.
That's what they call it, the millennium.
The
Run?
millennium run, and they understand now that there's an energy grid that connects everything, because before they thought there's no way that like a nucleus can have another one 10 million miles away and react instantaneously.
And is it because of quantum mechanics that they found this?
It is because of quantum mechanics, but now it's the word would be contextuality is what they're understanding, that you can be one thing and be affected by this. So check this out. Your pineal gland, everything in your body is symmetry.
Yes.
Right? You have two of all this, two eyes, two nose, because we work in polarity.
What about your heart?
Everything's positive and negative except for certain things because their connection is somewhere else.
Ah, okay.
So your pineal gland is only one, and it's guarded heavily in the center of your brain because the other one exists somewhere else. So your pineal gland is just, say, one of your eyes, and your other eye is your soul that's way out there in some other realm.
That's a good way to put it. And you've researched this info.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you can see it through like DMT and things like that,
Yeah.
because DMT, you get a burst of it when you're born and a burst of it when you die. When I do DMT, I see the veil disappear pretty quickly. It's a chemical reaction. The veil of this ego reality disappears, and all of a sudden I can see the universe and everything that's going on.
Speaking of DMT
Yeah.
and like ayahuasca, we're out here in the Amazon jungle.
Yeah, we are.
You're sweating. I'm sweating a little bit. It's
Oh, I
very
love
humid.
it. I didn't
Yeah.
even notice I was sweating. I'm so used to it, man.
Good, good. There's people that help others heal, and there's people that need to be healed before they help others heal, but they're in a healing
God, what a great way
job.
to say that. I want to say that. I want you to say that again. There's people that,
help others heal.
and there's people that need to heal before they help others.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes, which brings me to all these false, I don't want to call them prophets, but healers.
Yeah.
I feel like, dude, some of these people, maybe they're able to help a couple people, but then
Yeah.
they develop fucking huge egos, bro.
Well, the ego is what, like, I talk about that in The Secret. We learned how to manifest, but we were manifesting with ego, so everybody manifested a bunch of Mercedes Benz. They didn't try to make the world a better place because they are manifesting for self. They're
Yeah.
stuck in ego. So you're 100% right. Egos are going to be wherever you go. But the problem with, at least the place I went down here, I came down here pretty ready to leave this planet. And this for me was a big
Shift.
step for soul cleansing. It was kind of that last ditch effort that I know everybody thinks about. I mean, I had a lady from Wisconsin out there who was hardcore meth addict her whole life, and she instinctually knew I have to get down to this jungle because of ayahuasca. So ayahuasca was created by the gods as a way to help us clear our physical so we could kind of get back to the path of enlightenment. This is magic made by gods on purpose. This isn't some random vine in the jungle that has
There's
a
no way
weird
it's random,
chemical.
bro. There's 10,000
This is
different.
very specific. But my experience out here was heartbreaking because I sat with shamans, did a number of ceremonies. I sat in silence and isolation, and I was working so hard to get through my own heady crap. All the while, the two males running this place were filling my head with heady crap. One of them's trying to sleep with the girls that are coming down and this whole thing. And I went, oh, these people aren't healers. They've just been around being like punk rock in the jungle, and now they're making a fortune off of ayahuasca. But these people should not be anywhere close to being in charge of healing. And I hope through your podcast, people will look this up and understand that, if you're going to a place like Psychonauta, like I did, do your homework, because those people might be filled with love and everything, but two males stuck in their ego have no place near nurturing or healing. And this is an example of our patriarchy, because these men think, I got this is me, I'll just sit out here and build my empire, right? This is why the feminine is here, because men so easily step into these roles pretending that they're healed. They believe it. Their ego believes it. They think what they're doing is great. But what I saw was mental abuse.
Really?
I saw it hurting people more than it was helping. They weren't nurturing anybody in any way. If you had a problem, if you were going through something hard, their only response was, well, you're manifesting your own reality. Toughen up. You got to handle that.
Well, some people
It
don't
was
have
like
the
a
tools.
prison.
Yeah.
And people are spending thousands of dollars and all that they have. And that broke my heart, man. I was like, this should not be okay. So I just hope whoever's listening to these things about ayahuasca is like, if you feel that call, you feel that desire to come down, what you're seeking is the plant, not the people, not necessarily the shaman. The shamans can be helpful. They can really get in there and help guide you on some deep personal spiritual stuff. But if you go to a place like this, you're going to do ayahuasca in ego, and you will only have your own ego mind to battle. You will never find your guides. You won't get through this crazy breakthrough. You will sit in ego and be punished for it. And you would have just spent everything you had.
I was actually there today. I interviewed the guy, so I'm gonna post that episode and then yours.
Yeah.
I was only there for hours, so unlike you for 10 days, that really saw stuff.
Yeah.
But I just want you to judge for yourself. That's the point, dude. I just put the information out there.
I think it's beautiful that you do that.
Yeah, yeah,
But I subscribe to it's time to tell the truth.
yeah.
And
Face the truth.
why would I say, well, these people are fine, I'm not going to judge them? I go, no, you guys have no business running this place. You're ripping everybody off, and you're creating a lot of pain loops. And I'm here to break those loops.
Yeah.
And so I will say it loud and proud to anybody that hears, because here's the deal. They have the chance to change. Men don't listen. They don't listen to insight. They don't listen to feedback because their ego is too challenged, and they fight that. These guys have the opportunity to change. So right now, if they heard this, you guys can't nurture, and you're not in touch with your empathy. And what you're doing is you're harming people. So don't do that in the guise of being a healer. If you want to change, then do it, man. I can't wait to see if these guys will show. If I find out 6 months from now they've done some beautiful work and become these really incredible people, then yeah. Because our whole point of life is to change. You don't have to just be an asshole. You can say, I've been an asshole, but I'd like to try to change that now. But they don't know how to because they can't be honest because their egos are running things.
And Einstein said the only constant in life is change.
And you know what the word for that is? Shakti.
Shakti?
Shakti is the universal word. It's from the ancient Gitas and stuff. But Shakti is the word that builds the ability to change. If you're an abused woman lying on the floor, you got Shakti in you. You can stand up and walk out that door. You change. Anytime you're stuck in a loop in the narrative, change something.
Yeah. Or
Do
just say the
something
word
different.
change.
Just say change.
Yeah, just say change, and subconsciously it will stop that.
Yeah.
After a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to outprogram your brain. You don't have to outprogram your mind. You can just decide, I've been a thinking type. I'd like to live life as a feeling type. And for men, that's the hardest. So I say, just try not planning everything for a day. Just wake up and say, let me try to do whatever it is I feel. If I feel like having this for breakfast, if I feel like going on a hike, if I feel like doing that, don't plan it. Just spend one day just
That's what I
going,
did
let
yesterday.
me feel my way through this.
And it's easier when you're traveling because you have a sense of freedom, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Well,
me and you are just chilling, bro.
You let go of your control because you don't
Yeah.
have any.
People used to ask me, why do you love traveling so much?
Yeah.
I really sat down and meditated. I realized that I'm like the type of person that likes to control what happens next.
Yeah.
Like a couple steps in,
Thinking mind.
yeah, the thinking mind. Like playing chess, you want to know what's going on 3-4 moves in advance. But when you come to the Amazon jungle, you've never been here, you can't predict what's going to happen next. You're stuck in the present moment, and
But
it's beautiful.
Why are you planning it out? Because it's safe.
It is safe,
We
bro.
create loops because
It
they're
is safe.
safe because we're afraid. We're afraid because we can't be honest. Nobody's being honest about the fact that we're hurt and we're broken. And it's like, so we're doubling down on this ego society, right? We're going to build more, get more, have more. That'll do it.
No, that won't.
It's not
bro.
doing it.
It's not.
So this is all about switching from thinking mind to feeling mind. And women, whether men like it or not, women will run the world for 2,500 years. That's
cool,
just
bro.
how life works because we switch. Everything is cyclical. We've switched from masculine, now we're in the feminine.
Why can't we have both?
You can. You have both in you. You choose to lean to one side or the other. That's all programming.
Well, can you just be like in the center?
The whole goal is to be centered. I mean, look at emotionally, the word bittersweet, right?
Yeah.
How come you can laugh and cry at the same time? Because you're standing in center of all of the emotions. Something is so beautiful it hurts. That's standing right in center where you're seeing everything all at once. So center is where you want to be. If you want to move your polarity over to masculine, I had an ex-girlfriend who loved her masculine life. She was crushing numbers at work. She just wanted more and more sales, and she wanted to buy things. She was the dude. I was started taking care of the house, and she'd come home, and it was like, where's dinner? Let's have sex. And I was like, when did this happen?
Hey,
When did I become the girl?
It doesn't sound too bad though.
It was.
Oh,
I
it was bad?
understood what it felt like to be in that feminine space of like, I'm here nurturing this house and caring for it. Now I'm just this piece of meat to you. Like, no. Talk to me, connect with me, love me, because I switched to my feminine because she was living in her masculine.
So you flip the script on.
So everybody can code switch.
Yeah.
You have both in you. You're made that way. That's why you have people who can be born into a male's body, but they want to express themselves as a woman. That's because they are relating more to their feminine. They just happen to be in a male body. And that's because that's primal. You can't deny that there's a vagina and a penis. Those things go into each other and we make babies.
Yeah, that's basic biology.
These are the animal parts of us. People need to understand that when you get in touch with your light body, there is no sex there.
That's just pure love.
It's not anything. It doesn't exist. There isn't sex there. There's no physical. We create this physical manifestation here. So if you identify with being a male, your past life, you might have been a woman and might have loved that more. You could be connected to an alien civilization right now and be a woman who's married to a man. I mean, try that on for size.
That's a little beyond me, bro, for now.
But this is what expansion does. It's like you plant some seeds now. It's a little hard for people to hear. Give them 6 months. People are actually like, yeah, okay, I get it now.
Do you think more people are waking up now?
It's by design.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
So that's
Aquarius
yes.
is literally for waking up. And from what I know from the higher dimensions, they are concerned. They're very concerned about what's going on
Why?
Earth. Because ego is so strong, we're not getting back into our cycle of divinity. and everything is on a scale. So if we keep going into ego in this phase, humanity will get to a point where it can't recover.
So, but aren't we getting away from that at the same time?
It depends on people's choices right now.
Yeah.
If people don't decide to live in more of a community mind
Yeah.
and to identify their ego and step into awareness and realize we are these other beings, then we will continue to devolve to a point where it'll just be Mother Nature saying, then you got to go
Yeah. Seriously,
because you're not connected to me anymore.
that movie with Mark Wahlberg, where the trees turned on everyone. Remember that?
No. The trees did?
Yeah. The
With
trees.
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah. Remember the trees give
What
you
are you
oxygen?
talking about?
Yeah. He was a high school teacher. Remember?
The trees?
Yeah.
No.
Anyways, he was a high school teacher, and something happened where people started going insane. So apparently, what happened is the trees were like, "Oh, you guys are killing us off, so we're just gonna kill
so
you
we're
off
gonna
first."
start killing you.
Yeah.
And those are all metaphors, man. I mean, what we are like. Look, if you look outside at all the trees in this jungle, as Matthias De Stefano says, this is the lung of Earth. If you look at those trees and then you looked at the actual fibers inside your lungs, it looks like a jungle full of trees. We mimic nature and nature mimics us. A tree has roots just like our spines and our cords in our body. So when you're looking out of this jungle, you are standing inside your own lung. The other lung is in Africa because there's two. These things are literally breathing oxygen into our lives,
And
and
we're
we're out
trapping it
here
off.
cutting them down.
Yep. Fucking douches.
We are killing ourselves all the time because we don't understand that we are the same.
Yeah.
We see ego, we see material gain. When you step back into who you are on the inside, you see that I can resonate with that because it is me and I am it. And that's what we're really trying to do right now. Otherwise, we're fucked.
Big time, bro.
You know?
You think this is like the last frontier?
I mean, look, honestly, I love everybody here, but I don't like Earth that much. I don't like it here because it's a game for ego kings.
Yeah. For
It's-
now, it's starting to shift though.
It's shifting, but some people don't want it to. Some people
Yeah.
like this game, and there's a lot to learn. But if you've got a soul and it's working on something, say in your last lifetime you got killed and failed to protect your family and they got murdered. So in this lifetime, you decide, I'm not having any kids. I'm going to be introspective. I'm not going to do that. But something's constantly reminding you, you should have a family. It's bringing you pain. You're holding on to something. And without that backstory, your soul is stagnant. You can't move forward without that backstory. So it's like, go get a past life regression. Go talk to one of the professional, a reputable source, not some kooky weirdo. There's plenty of them that are legit, that are online, that you can see. They will help you walk through your past lives.
Is it like hypnosis?
It's hypnosis into your subconscious. It's not
Yeah.
something crazy.
Hey,
It's opening that up. It's
I
like
have a friend
dreaming.
in LA. Check this out. He's a child
Yeah.
psychologist. I
Yeah.
met him in Guatemala. He's like, bro, he's like, when I talk to little kids that are like 3, 4, or 5, they'll tell me about their past lives. I don't even ask them.
You know why? Because until you're 5 years old, about that, science has now figured out you're still swimming around the fifth dimension.
Really?
You're not locked into third yet. So you can still understand these bigger concepts because we come in with that full awareness and divinity, and as we're materialized and born into physical, our egos take over and we start losing that. You know, and that's for the game of life or whatever it is we're doing here. But we don't have to sit around and pretend like this is working. It's not.
It's not working, bro. I'll be honest.
And it's never been. But we've created this big giant world, and so the men go inside. They go inside to be observers. Women have been observing for 2,500 years. They've gotten stronger. So this is a cool fact. Women decide when they're looking out at a man, if your wife's looking at you and she doesn't like how you're behaving, she can change the frequency inside of her womb to make sure guys like you aren't born here. The woman can decide who is allowed onto this earth and who is
you
not.
mean like intelligent design?
It's not. It's raising your vibration, and it's
That's
raising the standards. So women are, and quite literally, women are the only reason you're here anyway. You can't be here unless you come out, unless they vibrate you into a womb, grow you, and then birth you into this existence. It's a trip, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know that, but I'm gonna look into that one.
So when we've been looking at, as men have been looking at women as weaker and less than, they've been quietly observing and building this inner strength. Men have been outward, building outer strength with no inner strength. So this transition is quite literally Men go inside, women go outside. So women who've been sitting around observing, now it's time for them to have the keys to the castle. Men who've been building the castle now go inside and observe and learn because they have some
Interesting.
growth to happen, some growing to do.
Cool.
Yeah.
I need to look into that, especially the vibration of women. That
Oh,
sounds really super interesting.
It's
bro.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
And on the last note, I always ask people this question, brother,
Yeah.
because you seem so happy now.
Uh-huh.
What can people do now, whether it's in the States, Europe, wherever, to just snap out of it? Like people that are in depression, anxiety, they're sad, or they're fearful of the future.
Get my book. If I can give
Yeah.
it away, I would. This is not a lie. The Three Minds is like, look, I take brilliant information from not just myself, but everyone else out there, and I approach it like a journalist to put all the information in there together. That's what it's for, is to say, this is how you start. This is how you start understanding how you put words to things. There's new lingo in there for people to start conversations. Like, just get more information. Be curious. If I could say anything,
Be curious,
Be
bro.
curious.
About everything, question everything.
But just start with your curiosity. Fall in love with your curiosity again and go, I have this weird feeling about something. Then go look that up. Go study it. Go visit that country. Like, get up and go be curious, because staying stagnant is what's killing us.
Yeah.
And we have to, the second thing I would say is learn to be wrong. The antithesis to ego is learning to be wrong, because all ego knows how to do is try to be right. So we're all trying to be right and we're all failing at it. So why don't we stop trying to be right and just listen?
My manager, because I'm in sales,
Yeah.
he said, "Do you want to be right or do you want to win?" I was like, "Interesting."
It's the same, but with spirituality
Yeah,
attached,
yeah.
not sales.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But that's a very typical male thing to do, right? We take these almost passionate sort of feelings and turn them into ways to manipulate and take. We don't use these things to create communities and to create a better world. We're fight. Everything is built on either separation or connection. Look at Apple, Mac, religion, you name it. They're withholding information to keep us separate. This is all divide and conquer. So maybe people just need to hear that out loud. You've been programmed with divide and conquer. Like, look, when did you decide whether you were Democrat or Republican? Did you sit down and read every piece of
Fuck
literature
no.
about it?
No.
It was social status, right?
Pretty much.
But then we fight to the death over it.
Most people do. I don't like that shit bothering
So
me.
people need to give themselves a break and say, look, you have embedded beliefs in you that aren't even yours.
Yeah.
And in this book, I'll teach you how to go through there and start unpacking these deep beliefs you have. Dude, even about marriage. I met this woman who believes that she's fighting for the sanctity of her marriage for all these reasons. After talking to her for 2 hours, she started to realize it's that she's afraid of being a spinster, because that's what she was taught
What's
when
a
she was a little
spinster?
girl. A spinster means that you're going to be an unwed woman who's too old to be wed, and now you're just a spinster. You're
Okay.
shunned from society. This is such a huge fear in women that's programmed in from their own mothers, their grandmothers, everything. Go get a man or you will be shunned in society. I mean, to have to grow up with that as a woman in this patriarchy is just, we're killing them. What we've done to women is pretty unforgivable. It just is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we will trash them, we will beat them.
What
Yet,
do you mean we? Not me and you, other people.
yeah. But yet, when we get nurtured by our own mother, it's the greatest thing we'll ever
It's
have.
the greatest thing ever, bro.
We're the biggest hypocrites on the earth, men are, because we don't know how to get out of our own ego, and we're in so much pain. So I don't think that men have apologizing to do to women in this way. This is just how our world is working. And like I said, reincarnation's real. You've been a woman, you've been a man, you've been black, you've been white, you've been whatever. You don't need just to subscribe to what you think you are right now. Let go, get curious, read my book, because it's just step one.
The Three Minds.
The Three Minds.
Erin.
It's not supposed to change the world. It's just supposed to open the door so you can go do your own work.
What if it starts the fire, bro?
The fire's already started.
Perfect.
There's thousands of us.
Yeah.
You know, everybody, like I said, you don't have to pick apart whether we're telling the truth or not, because you'll realize everyone is saying the same thing.
I agree,
The
bro.
universe doesn't work like religion. It's not abstract. There's not a point where you go, Well, then what? And then you hear the priest say, well, have faith. That's not how it is in the universe. For every question you have, there's an answer. Like Archangel Michael. We see these archangels in the Bible. That's sixth dimension. They're actual architects and world builders in that realm of energy. So an archangel is quite literally an architect. So we
Nice.
steal all these little things, and it's like, dude, you guys are going to have so much fun when you figure out how this world really works.
That's awesome.
You
Cool,
know?
bro.
It's magic. You said that.
Yeah,
It's magic.
it is magic.
And we are magic.
We are definitely magic.
And
brother.
it's time for us to enjoy that and learn to love our way through this again. And I think that starts with feelings.
feelings.
I think if we don't learn to have a society where it's okay to feel and to talk about it, then we're stuck. Because vibration resonance is what made this. We are stuck in a narrative. We're stuck in the matrix, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the matrix is a real thing.
It is. There's a 7 to 10 second lag.
Here's a great one, and I can leave you with this, but the idea that we were born and we were, you know, in the first dimension on our inception, not born here, we're a big giant ball of light, right? That's all we are. Just a big ball of white pulsating love. And we're curious souls. What are we? What are we? So we created the third dimension, which is Earth. We manifested our spirits into a physical reality. But to do that, shadow arrived to give us shape. Darkness was something we created because without it, all we are is a giant ball of light. There is no such thing as darkness. There is no devil. All of these things are projections we've created. Darkness is actually your friend that you conjured up. So anybody who's stuck right now in that darkness or fear state, we've created that fear and we've created that darkness. And if you figure that out, next time you see some sort of crazy devil energy coming at you, you just sit in your little love bubble and go, oh, that's not real. And it will dissipate every single time. Because darkness goes, oh, shit, you figured it out? Yep. He's like Harry Potter. When they're training of the things that come out of the
goblin on
closet.
fire. Oh,
It's-
yeah.
It's the same thing.
Astrobar.
It's the same thing. So we can let go of fear. We can let go of darkness. And the way we're going to do that is by being curious about why we're made of light and we forgot.
Got it. That's a great way to end this, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, just remember you're light. You have the power of God within you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every God, anything. We say Akasha, Source, God, Yahweh,
The force.
whatever you want to call it.
I call it the force.
And that spark, that electric current, is not in your mind. It's not in your soul mind. That spark is inside of your heart. The thing that charges us all and connects everything is plugged into you right now. And that beat in your heart has its own blood channel.
Yeah.
It's got its own. It's protected. It has its own blood supply. This thing is a powerful, magical beast, right? This thing is what they call the beat of Shiva's drum. The cadence of life, the rhythm, is the same as your heartbeat. This is a flow state. When you sit there and start to feel your heartbeat, that is the current of all of life. This is you getting back to the fact that we are all one thing,
Nice.
right?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Right on, Erin.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing,
No,
man.
thank you, bro. Thanks
You're
for jumping
bringing
on my
some truth
podcast.
out here, and I think it's badass. You're out here in the jungle. You rallied
I'm
all
actually
day
gonna buy you.
today.
Yeah, I did rally all day. I went 2 hours out of my way to talk to your shaman.
But not even 2 hours out of your way. You got on a bus and trekked through the jungle. Through all
Yeah,
sorts
so
of,
it's
that's
like
not
2.5 hours each
It's not
way.
like you went 2 hours to San Francisco, man.
Nah,
you went,
man. It was
you
in
went
the
out
jungle,
to the
bro.
snakes and the tigers.
It
you
was
know?
legitly the jungle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is your book available on Amazon?
My book is on Amazon right now. The Three Minds. Go
Perfect.
grab it
Oh,
because I love you all and I want you all to look. I want everybody to read that, and
I'll
then
read it.
that's step one. And then go. I need you guys to tell me what step two is. I don't know. This was my piece of the puzzle. I don't know the rest of the answers, so you guys got to tell me. Let's be in this together. Like, take my stuff, open the door, and then go, hey, this is how we get to the Akashic realm, or this is how we do this. I'll be like, great, because I need you guys. I need you guys to help me back.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and subscribe. I'll go ahead and leave his info along with a link to his book, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, bro.
Much love, y'all.
Yeah.